What is going on, guys? We're back. The Dark Horse MMA Podcast is back. Episode 8. I actually had no idea what the episode was for a little while. I had to go back and go on the YouTube channel to see what episode it was, as embarrassing as that is, because it's been so long. The reason for that absence, I'll quickly explain before we get into the fights this weekend that everyone was talking bear shit about. I kind of was learning more of YouTube as I went on, as I was just studying it a lot in algorithm, and I kind of realized that the podcast format wasn't really the best in order to get a lot of views and a lot of attention to the page, because I just want to make the best content for you guys. So I kind of figured out podcast wasn't the best format for the moment. I kind of wanted to try something new, so I was doing a lot of breakdowns and predictions. And if you're listening on Spotify, you can check that out, the video format. If you're on YouTube, what's up, guys? You can see my face, and you can probably see these sweaters, Dark Horse MMA sweater on Spotify, guys. You can see it on the YouTube page. If you're on Spotify, I got one right there, black sweater with the white one. I had to mix in white, I needed a white sweater. I have 16 black sweaters, so. But yeah, no, I've been mixing it up, kind of just went on Vistaprint. Wanted to have some sweaters to wear to promote the brand. Right now, I'm just trying to blow up the brand as much as I can. But yeah, guys, it's fucking awesome to be back. I truly did miss the podcast format. Jules is doing this thing with Bionic. Fucking awesome. I'm so excited. Jules and I kind of had this life experience recently with both of us for many different reasons in our personal lives. And now we're just having fun with life. We're enjoying it. And because of that, and I think this is kind of a celebratory moment for the Dark Horse MMA Podcast, bringing it back to life, because, I've got a lot of messages on Instagram about having guests, guys that follow me wanting to be guests on the podcast, even on Twitter. So I always wanted to bring it back. Now I found that I have more time on my hands to bring it back for you guys. So because of that, I got a friend here with me. And on Spotify, you can't see it, but on YouTube, you can. Mr. McGregor. Fucking Proper 12. It's a celebratory moment. My girlfriend actually got this for me. Shout out Selena at Cook and Vassell on Instagram. It was actually our 1-year anniversary last Sunday. It's right now. I don't even know what day it is. It is October 4th. And yeah, she knows I love this shit. She knows McGregor's my life idol before he used to punch old guys in the face. But yeah, no, man. So I'm gonna pour myself a nice glass of Proper 12 on the rocks. I think on the rocks means with ice. I don't know. Look, it even came with a nice little shot glass. Cool. But yeah. So I don't know. I'm not into ASMR or any of that bullshit, but here it goes. Proper 12. It's a celebratory moment. Woo! Let's go, baby. Let's go. Guys, whoever's listening, let's have fun. Let's have fun right now. Put this bitch back in. Okay, now we're good. A little stir. Woohoo! That first sip of whiskey puts hair in your chest, boys. I'll tell you that right now. If you have a hairless chest, have a glass of whiskey, you'll wake up like a fucking bear. Anyways, one more sip. Okay, I haven't had Proper 12 in a minute, now that I think about it. But yeah, catching you guys up, was fucking around with merchandise. I actually finished my sleeve tattoo. I got, guys on Spotify, you're listening, you can't see it, but you can check it out on my YouTube page. I got a samurai right there, if you can see it right there, boom. Then I got a nice snake. I don't know if you can't really see it, but some guy choking out a snake. Whatever, fuck it. I'm not gonna break my arm showing you guys. And I doubt you guys care that much. And I got my mom's eye right there. And with it, I'll fucking just post a video here of it so you guys can see it better. And I got my mom's eye with me raising my hands, just to symbolize her seeing me succeed in life. I was even thinking about making a separate video about just what my tattoos mean to me, but I'll save that for fucking another time. For now, let's get into the fights. Let's go. Okay, let's get into the fights. Fight card, Holly Holm and Irene Aldana. So everyone is talking bear shit about this fight card. it obviously wasn't as stacked as other fight cards, which is going to happen because, when you have events like UFC 253, where there's 3 title fights, crazy stack card, main card, every fight can be like a UFC fight night main event. When you have cards like that, it's only a matter of time before you actually have like a card that lacks in depth when it comes to talent or like known fighters. That's only normal and it's going to happen. But the thing I love about these cards, at first I was kind of disappointed. The first card, I don't remember which card it was this summer with the pandemic going on, but there was one card that was pretty ass in talent. And I was like, oh my God, this sucks. But obviously I'm still going to watch it because I'm not a fucking casual. And basically, it was a crazy card of amazing knockouts, crazy fights. You just can't sleep in these cards. Everyone's talking bear shit every time a card like this happens. Oh my God, I'm not going to watch this fight, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to watch this card. I'm going to fucking catch up and sleep because of this, blah, 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 blah. You know what? Fucking, you don't know anything if you say that, because trust me, guys, I know from experience from watching these cards are bangers, as Chad would say about EDM music. These fucking cards are amazing. I love them because you get to know some of the lesser known fighters that are kind of on the come up, which I'll get into, which was actually the first main card fight. One guy on it was a middleweight I'll get into. But yeah, no, definitely, guys, if you haven't, watch these fights. Watch, even like, just give it a shot, because even for pay-per-views, a lot of people don't watch the first fights, the fucking early prelim fights. Sometimes those fights are the fight of the night. Get the fight of the night 50K bonus. Recently, I think 2 or 3 fight cards ago, something like that happened. But anyways, let's get fucking into it, boys. I'm saying boys because from YouTube analytics, there's literally 0 women that watch this page. So shout out boys, boy time. Let's go, boys night. Okay, let's get into it. So the first fight was Daquan Townsend against Dusko Todorovic. I know Paul Felder is struggling to say that guy's name. It was the middleweight bout. Take a sip of whiskey. Hopefully I don't fall asleep mid-podcast with this, because this whiskey's going to punch me in the face because I've barely eaten today. But you know what? It is what it is, as Max Holloway would say. Max Hollywood. Hollywood? Oh my God, Max Holloway. What am I fucking saying? Anyways. So, Daquan Townsend, Dusko Todorovic. Dusko was 10-0. He was a huge -360 favorite. I know this guy was coming from the Dana White Contender Series. I believe he won by TKO in like the first or second round, something like that. He actually did a really impressive performance. Got signed right away by Dana White himself. That was back in 2019. He's undefeated at 9-0. So, whenever there's an undefeated fighter coming up, it's always gonna turn heads, because who knows if that's gonna be like another Khabib or Izzy. You never know nowadays with all the talent and all the evolution of the sport, which is fucking awesome to see. And before going into this fight, he was preaching. He's like, you know what? Everyone's talking about my hands, but I got a fucking black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so I want to show that shit off if I have the chance to. If I don't knock this guy out in 16 seconds like fucking Khamzat Chimaev, who's a fucking character in himself. But yeah, no, something that I noticed right away with this guy, he walked out to AC/DC's Thunderstruck. And guys, if you don't know, for me personally, AC/DC is my favorite rock band. If any of you listening are into rock, AC/DC is my shit personally. So whenever I see a fighter walk out to a band or an artist or someone that I love, I know, for example, Jules and I watch this card together as usual. It's our night away from the girlfriends. It's really funny, but just like an inside joke between us and the girls. But yeah, no, some guy walked out to Still Wiz, and we got so excited because Jules and I, before obviously this summer, we always went to. It was like not a routine, a tradition to go to Wiz Khalifa when he came to the Budweiser stage in Toronto. We always used to see him perform, and did some stuff, if you know what I'm talking about, and always enjoyed. So just seeing some guy walk out of Still Wiz, which we blast in the Bionic Gym when we're working out and stuff. It's always cool to see, and right away I always tend to root for him. I don't know. if you guys on YouTube are familiar with or have the same kind of opinion with that, comment below. I would love to hear who's your favorite band, who's your favorite artist, what's your favorite song, and like what's your favorite walkout song that you see fighters walk out to that you automatically want to root for them right away. I would love to hear. Comment below if you guys have that in mind. But so yeah, no. And then Townsend, this was a crazy story. This shit broke my heart. It's he's now 21-12 after this fight because he lost. And he was a plus 290 underdog going into it. He was a huge underdog. And fucking on his walkout, Brendan Fitzgerald said that his two brothers were actually murdered in August, which completely broke my heart. It's a horrible thing to hear, and I don't know what the guy's feeling. I felt so bad. It broke my heart hearing that shit. And whenever I hear someone who has someone close to them pass away, I always root for them because I can't imagine what they're feeling like, and I always want to see them win, at least get their hand raised at the end of it, some positivity in their life, because it's such a horrible time dealing with all that shit. So it was tough seeing that right away. I was like, fuck, man, I hope this guy wins. I saw he has so much experience over this undefeated prospect. I'm like, you know what, maybe there's a chance. I know he had a reach advantage, I believe. And I know I had my fingers crossed. It really broke my heart. And, it kind of like, there's so much shit. I know I think a bantamweight, his brother passed away unexpectedly. And, he won his comeback fight. Walt Harris, with his stepdaughter, that horrific tragedy, that shit, that fucking broke my heart. And he actually lost his fight to Alistair Overeem. So it's that shit's always really tough to see. You always gotta. I don't know how you don't root for guys that are going through some life shit like that. But yeah, man. No. Anyways, back to the fight. Back to some positivity in our lives. Back to the fun. Right away, Dusko, man. This guy's got some nice hands. He's got some crazy head movement, even if he's against the cage. Always moving his head. He's always a moving target. He knows what he's doing. He's undefeated for a reason. And, he was bringing the fight to Townsend right away. He cracked him, I think in like the opening 10 seconds, he actually cracked him with like a hook or something. Kind of caught his attention and kind of was wide-eyed. He's like, oh, fuck, okay, this guy's got some power. Kind of got his respect right away. Right off the bat, he just had excellent striking pressure, was putting Townsend on the back step. Townsend wasn't really throwing as much in the first round. And then he's getting him, he got his back up against the cage, and Dusko, was just ripping the nasty hooks, just nasty strikes, connecting. And Townsend was showing he has a nice granite, solid chin at middleweight, because if that shit cracked Luke Rockhold, he would be into the shadow realm right now. I'm telling you right now. But yes, that guy would be taking a nap for 15 hours if he got touched with one of those. Even if he got touched with a fucking jab by Dusko, he'd be sleeping. And if you guys can't tell, I really don't like Luke Rockhold. If you guys are having a hard time figuring out why I'm talking so much shit about this guy, even though he can kick me in the face and put me in the shadow realm, whatever. Okay, more whiskey. Ooh. So yeah, Townsend had when he went back into his corner after the first round, he got some great advice from his coach that Jules and I actually acknowledged to ourselves. And really funny, something to really talk about, just bring up quickly, was the fact that I think Jules and I can be commentators for this UFC, because we were pointing shit out minutes before Dan Hardy or Paul Felder were bringing that up themselves. So I don't know, we're kind of on top of this shit. I don't know if it's because we did some not illegal, it's illegal now, things before the fight. And yeah, no, I don't know. We were just so on point. We were pointing shit out every time it happened. We're like, oh my god, it happened again. Anyways, regardless, I think Jules and I are going to get hired by Dana White himself and Sean Shelby probably in the future. But anyways, going back into the fight, Townsend got this great advice from his coach to trust his cardio and to start letting his hands go, because he was so hesitant in that first round. When you get cracked with a punch right in the opening sequence, you're going to be a little hesitant because you automatically have respect and you don't want to get touched like that again. It only makes sense. But right off of the bat in the second round, he was trusting his hands, trusting his cardio, trusting his training. At once in general, whatever, you know what I fucking mean. And yeah, no, he was doing a lot better in the opening exchanges of the second round. And then eventually Dusko actually took the fight to the ground, got a nice level change, and wanted to show that black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu like he was preaching before this fight. And he got to. And, he passed his guard. Townsend is very, very active on the ground in the sense that he was trying to escape a lot of the time. He wasn't just sitting there like a dead fish doing fuck all. He was actually trying to escape. He was being progressive, with trying to shrimp out and whatnot. And then eventually Dusko secured full mount. And once he secured full mount, he had dominant control over Townsend. And he had some fucking vicious ground and pound on the man. But I got to give credit to Townsend with that chin again. He ate some nasty ground and pound punches from Dusko. And, eventually those ground and pound punches got the fight to be finished, led to the fight to be finished. And, so Dusko eventually won by TKO in the second round. And it was funny when he won, Townsend actually fucking swept him and put him on his ass when he was on full mount. So it was kind of, as he was raising his hands, he kind of just swept him off of his full mount. And, he was complaining, obviously. So it obviously sucks to see him lose, Townsend, but, I don't know. It's the fight game. I wish him the best, obviously. I hope he's doing well with his family. But yeah, no, for Dusko, fucking, that guy's a nasty as in really good. For anyone that's listening, not from Canada, nasty is a good thing. Doesn't make any sense, but he's a fucking high-level prospect, in my opinion, in a middleweight division too. I think he can do some damage in this division. I don't know what's next for him. We have to see what they come up, but I know he wants to fight again soon. He didn't really take any crazy shots. He did take a couple shots. He showed his chin too, but And he in the post-fight interview, he was even preaching that he wants to be his main priority in the UFC in his career is just to keep that 0 losses on his record. He wants to be undefeated. He wants to be like a Floyd Mayweather. Obviously probably not 50-0 because that's kind of crazy. But I don't know if that's his goal. Fuck, run with it. I'd love to see it. I love that shit. But yeah, so yeah, next fight. This was a sick fight. Kyler Phillips and Cameron Else or whatever his name is. Bantamweight fight. Kyler Phillips, luscious locks on this guy. He has beautiful hair. Great energy on this man too. In his walkout, he's dancing and fucking feeling himself. This man, I love seeing guys with a certain energy that they know that they're the shit in their minds, that they're the shit. This guy was training jiu-jitsu since he was like 4 years old or some shit. His dad right out of the womb, he threw him on the mat. He's like, "Let's go. I'm gonna show you how to shrimp." Before he could probably even speak. So Phillips was on the Ultimate Fighter and he was on the Dana White's Contender Series. After this fight, he's now 8-1 because he won. And he was a huge minus 425 favorite. They should have just done minus 420 because, it's always 420. And Else is 10-5 now. He was a plus 345 underdog. He has a crazy stomach tattoo of a lion, which you gotta respect because that's a crazy spot to get that kind of tattoo. It's kind of like a McGregor thing. It's really in your face. A lot of people were making fun of it, but you know what? If he likes it, go fuck yourself. That's all that matters. And it's badass, so you gotta respect it. And I can't imagine how much that shit hurt because my bottom half of my sleeve tattoo sucked balls. So that was not fun. I can't imagine what his stomach's like. And yeah, whatever. Regardless. And else, this was his UFC debut. I don't know if I said that already, but he took this fight on short notice, so it makes sense. And he was actually a paratrooper in his, previous days. I don't know when that was, but he was a paratrooper, so, that requires a certain mental toughness in order to have that, as a life skill, I guess, or whatever you would say, as experience. That's badass. I love hearing that kind of stuff. But yeah, Phillips, he's very unpredictable with his strikes and with his movement. He's kind of unorthodox, so you don't really know what's coming. You don't know if he's going to throw like a spinning wheel kick or a nice 4-piece boxing combo. You don't know what's happening, so it's hard to anticipate that. And because of that, it's easy for him to shoot in and change levels for a takedown. So he was actually able to do that. So he had he took what's his name? He took Else down, and it was cool the way he was passing his guard. He kind of was avoiding Else's up kicks. He didn't want to get Nico Price James Vick KO'd. So he was smart with it. He was cool. The way he was passing guard, I never saw someone pass guard like that. He was very smooth with it. He kind of just basically literally walked around him. Didn't do anything crazy. Didn't do any like fucking cartwheel transitions into half guard or side control or anything like that. He made it look very easy, which is pretty cool to see. I don't know if Else was just very elementary on the ground. I'm not too familiar with him because this was his UFC debut. It's not my job to get familiar with guys who are making their UFC debuts like Dan Hardy and Paul Felder and shit. But yeah, no, like he was fucking eating. Else was eating some nasty shots in the ground and pound position at the end of the first round, and he took his sweet ass time getting back to his feet when the bell rung, going back into his corner. He didn't even know which way his corner was, and kind of once you see a fighter have that kind of body language, you can kind of see where he's at mentally, where he's at physically. You know, he's kind of dazed. He was eating nasty elbows and punches on the ground and towards the end of the first round. So it's easy to imagine the kind of fight was basically over. And then you definitely can see that in the second round when Phillips had him against the cage and he didn't even foot sweep him or anything. He kind of just fell back, Else, and Phillips was just right on top. I think it was in the first round. There's actually this cool sweep that that Else hit on Phillips from on the bottom of side control, and he almost landed a nice Darce or Anaconda choke. I forget the one, but I know he on his highlights going into the fight, he fucking just choked the shit out of some guy unconscious with one of those chokes. So it was cool. It was a cool transition. So he's not as elementary on the feet as I thought, which I'm just realizing this now as I'm recording this podcast. But I'm going to be honest with the guys, and by guys I mean the viewers, you motherfuckers. So where am I going at? So after that easy fucking takedown, he got on. I think it was a back mount, and then he just finished the fight elbowing the fuck out of him. I know. One elbow, I don't know what round it was. It was funny. It was to the back of the head, and it was a 12-6 elbow, but it was a weird positioning because it was from back mount, so it was like no one knew. It was kind of an odd position. You didn't really clue in with that, which is pretty funny. And I think Paul Felder actually pointed that out, which is hilarious. But yeah, Phillips easily took him down, finished the fight with elbows, won via TKO in the second round. And then he said something to Else when he got up. I don't know if these guys were talking shit to each other going into this fight that I'm not familiar with. Maybe it was like something someone said in an interview or some shit that made Phillips catch feelings. But if that's not the case, I fucking hate when guys scream at someone after they get finished. Unless it was like some Izzy Paulo Costa shit, then whatever. But I don't know, man. I love respect after fights. You talk as much shit as you want before the fight. Don't cross any boundaries. Just always give respect, man. I don't know. I just don't like. I don't like the disrespect part about MMA and mixed martial arts. If you literally go to war, you beat the fuck out of each other or whatever happens in the fight, just be respectful after. That's because this did rub me the wrong way, if I'm being completely honest. And he had this funny post-fight interview. He thanked everyone, the common bullshit. I don't want to say bullshit, but common speech after the fight. Thanked everyone, and then he was kind of saying, he was kind of like telling all the fighters, like, guys, you got to fight at Fight Island. This shit is crazy. He's like, I want to live here. It's like being on a cruise ship. I get free food. Before his fight, he was jet skiing. It was a crazy life. It sounds amazing as long as you love to fight. Like Hamzat Chimaev, he's drinking coconut water and shit out of a coconut. He's living his dream. He's like, this is the life. I smash people, I get fucking bonuses. I'm making so much money, and I'm on an island in Abu Dhabi making bank. So that's sick to see. Yeah, no, he was a funny guy, but he was doing these crazy flips as a celebration. So This guy he's a very entertaining fighter. He had crazy transitions on the mat, very smooth, very precise, very clean. I love seeing it. Just predominantly, whatever the word is, training jiu-jitsu mainly. I love seeing that shit. Like seeing Bryce Mitchell fuck Charles DeRosa, I believe his name is, at UFC 249. That fight, I fucking love that shit. I love seeing amazing high-level jiu-jitsu because it just gets me motivated to go on the mats, even though right now I can't because of fucking COVID and all this bullshit going on in the world. But yeah, you know what? Anyways, excuse me. Going into the next fight, Germaine de Randamie against Juliana Pena. First of all, Juliana Pena, she's kind of bad. She's a good-looking girl. It's crazy when you see and the fact that she's number 4 ranked in the world and she's not bad looking at all. That's always a nice little bonus for marketing and advertising team at the UFC. But anyways, bantamweight belt, Germaine de Randamie, she's number 1 ranked. Juliana Pena ranked number 4. After this fight, Germaine is 10-4 because she won, in case you guys didn't know. She was a minus 145 favorite, as she should be because she's number 1 ranked, as I previously said. And this is her first fight back since the Amanda Nunes loss. She's the former bantamweight champ. Something cool about her, something I love, I mentioned to Jules that he wasn't aware of, was the fact that she actually is such a badass that she KOs male sparring partners. I don't know if she's actually fought males. I wouldn't be surprised if she has. But she's a badass. She's a fucking high-level striker, Muay Thai, kickboxer, badass. A funny thing was she wasn't really known for a ground game at all. And you could tell from the Amanda Nunes fight. She was going into the fight, she's like, I exposed Amanda Nunes in a way because she didn't want to strike with me, so she ended up taking Germaine down, fucking sniffing her jock strap as Marty Fake Snoozman would for basically a lot of the fight. And then Juliana Pena, she's now, because she lost the fight, she's 10-4. She's a plus 125 underdog, and she was the Ultimate Fighter 18 winner, which I did not know. And something I didn't know, I don't know if this is factual or not, someone can fact check me and rip my ass in the comments, or you can message me, was that her last loss in her previous 7 fights was to Valentina Shevchenko. So I don't know if that's right, fact check me. If it's not, whatever, just fucking shoot me a message. I don't care, doesn't matter, I won't get offended. I don't have a huge ego. But yeah, so okay, going into the fight, Germaine de Randamie, she was right away, she touched sorry, my ice is melting in this whiskey. I gotta finish this shit. Right away, you can see Germaine landing that right hand that actually fucking knocked out Aspen Ladd in like 16 seconds or whatever the fight was. She actually staggered Pena a couple times with that nasty straight right. And even in that fight, she was kind of feinting the uppercut. She landed it a couple times. She's mixing up well. She's a high-level Muay Thai kickboxer fighter and knocks the fuck out of her male sparring partners for a reason. She's a high-level striker. She's mixing up very well. She's got nasty knees, nasty elbows. She can do it all on the feet, basically. And she is a badass. Juliana Pena is also a badass. But, in the first round, Juliana Pena was kind of hesitant. Kind of was having a hard time going into the pocket, getting the fight against the fence, hopefully getting a takedown. I believe she got a takedown in like the last 3 seconds of the first round, something like that. And then right in the second round, she got that corner advice, bite down your fucking mouth guard and go out for it. You got to bring this fight to her, because if you don't, you're going to lose. That's just the way it's going to happen with a high-level striker like Germaine. So yeah, in the second, right away, Pena was swinging like a wild woman and actually got Germaine against the cage, which she was aiming for a takedown, whether it be like a trip or whatnot, had that body lock. And she eventually did get that takedown from Germaine. And there was one position where I think it was like in side control, or I think a half guard maybe, where Pena actually was going for a guillotine. And it was kind of a sequence where Germaine kind of got her hips up and Pena tried to just go full out Dustin Poirier on it and pull the guard on it, and she kept it. She kept the grip. And for people that don't know that train jiu-jitsu, if your guard gets past and you have that guillotine grip on, you're a complete rookie, which is completely fine. But that sets up the Von Flue choke, the Ovince St. Preux choke, which it should be fucking called now. And it was crazy because Germaine actually recognized that. So it shows this crazy evolution in Germaine's ground game ever since her last fight against Amanda Nunes, which she lost the title belt to. So yeah, that was crazy to see. The commentators were kind of pointing that out. They're saying, "Oh my God, like, you know, that's a crazy thing to notice, especially for this high level, predominantly striker." Everyone's saying she's just a striker, she's just a kickboxer, or whatnot. And yeah, it just showed this great evolution. It was cool to see. She actually had it tight on her, but Pena got lucky because the second round was basically over after that. It was only like a few seconds, 30 seconds, 20 seconds, or whatever it was, when she had that choke locked in, the Von Flue choke. So it was 1-1 going into the third. And in the middle of the third, Pena got, what's her name? Germaine randomly against the cage, went in for a single leg, and Germaine locked in this guillotine. And this guillotine, I've been obsessed with lately because I've been seeing guys lock it in and finish their opponents and actually choke them out. So this guillotine, I'll try to explain the best I can for the Spotify listeners. It's palm to palm and it's high elbow. It's not just the normal whatever grip you want to do guillotines with. So it's a cool. You get more torque on it, and I love that. Shout out to Selena because I actually, since I haven't been rolling, if she's too clingy to me, if my girlfriend's too clingy to me, guys, I fucking just swap her in like a darce or some shit, and she actually gets so mad at me. She told Jules that she wants to throw hands with me. So sorry, babe. You know I love you always at the end of the day. You just keep buying me Proper 12. I swear I won't do it anymore. But anyways, going back into it, yeah, no. So she locked in that, took it to the mat, and fucking put Pena out, and she put her out so quick too. It didn't take a while to sink in and to cut off the blood circulation. She fucking choked her out, and it was pretty quick, so it was cool to see. And Germaine's a badass. That was her first submission, so it's a pretty crazy submission to hit. Not that it was like crazy high level, but the way she did it showed this high evolution in her game, which is very dangerous if she gets that rematch with Nunes. If she doesn't rematch Holly Holm, which we'll get into her fight in a bit. Yeah, it was funny right after the fight. She's like, "Yeah, I'm a kickboxer that chokes you out." She's talking, not shit, but she's just being confident in herself, which I love to see. Winner by submission, obviously. And she said to Nunes that she was not done yet. She was wishing her well because Amanda Nunes actually just had her baby. So congratulations to Amanda Nunes and her wife. I actually forget her wife's name. I'm sorry. I don't really feel bad though. It is what it is. She has the third most finishes in bantamweight history, and she won performance of the night. So she got an extra $50K bonus for this nice guillotine choke finish. So now moving on to the co-main event. Before I do that, another sip of Proper 12 whiskey, golden liquor. Okay, so Jordan De Castro and Carlos Felipe co-main event. This event probably got the most attention because of the stare down. De Castro went in for a handshake, being respectful, and fucking Felipe was like, "Yeah, go fuck yourself. I'm not shaking your hand." And I learned that he's actually a big fan of the Diaz brothers, so it makes sense, his mentality, because once I saw that video, I'm like, yo, fuck this guy. I don't even know what this guy is, and he's doing this, and he's being a dickhead. But, once I got to learn that he loves looking up to the Diaz brothers. Diaz brothers don't shake anyone's hand unless it's Jorge Masvidal, who's actually a real gangster, or a bad motherfucker, as he would say. But yeah, no. So De Castro is a Dana White Contender Series alum. He's 6-2, and on the Dana White Contender Series, I believe he was like the biggest underdog on that card, or in history, or something like that. And he was minus 230 favorite going into this fight. Yeah, so he's now 6-2. And Felipe is now 9-1 after this fight. He was a plus 190 underdog. And something I kind of acknowledged when I was doing research for this podcast was the fact that De Castro was his big favorite, or decent-sized favorite, but De Castro in his last fight kind of showed he didn't have the craziest heart. I don't want to talk shit or whatever, because it's easier said than done for a guy that doesn't fight mixed martial arts, because I have so much respect for these guys, but you know, he has those nasty leg kicks that he was hitting Greg Hardy with, and I think Greg Hardy checked one of them, and then after that, De Castro wasn't doing shit, so wasn't showing the greatest like heart. It is heart when it comes down to it. I hate saying guys don't have the biggest heart, but you know, he showed a little chink in the armor when it comes to that if he gets hurt or tired or whatnot. But yeah, no, so Felipe loves trash talking. He acknowledged it. He says he loves it just to get in the guy's heads, and he showed it in this fight, which is really funny. And the referee for this fight was a fucking character in himself. If you guys have watched this fight, you will know, because you know, he was doing so much shit. And even before, I think it was the Min Akim fight against that Russian cat, Khabib's training partner. I forget his name. Min Akim was like talking shit, like, oh, let's fight, you're running away, cussing at him, and this referee was telling him not to cuss and be respectful. And I was like, what the fuck, man? It's a fight. Like, don't be a PUSSY. Yeah, no, don't be a fucking pussy. Like, I hate that shit. It's a fight. So this guy going into this fight, I was like, oh my god, this ref kind of rubs me the wrong way just because of that. I don't know who he's trying to be, what he's trying to implement. I believe that was a kind of a rule back in the day in the UFC, that you actually weren't able to talk shit, which is so stupid. Yeah, no, whatever. And Kevin Satako, which is the ref, his name, he looks exactly like fucking one of the Fertitta brothers that founded the UFC, that sold it for fucking $99 billion. Yeah, going into this fight, typical heavyweight fight, Felipe was kind of throwing that overhand right wildly. You know, he's kind of initiated more of the fight to De Castro. De Castro... And it was funny, right out of the gate, Felipe was kind of picking up his knee, pretending to check the calf kick or leg kick, because De Castro is a nasty leg kick. So he was kind of mocking him. He's like, yeah, come in leg kick me. I'm gonna check in. You're gonna fucking bitch out the rest of the fight. I'm gonna smash you. It's kind of that kind of vibe. So it was pretty funny to see that. And the cornermen, all Brazilian cornermen are hilarious. I love them, whether it be in them screaming "Isso" after every fucking jab, or every time their fighter blinks, they get so excited. It's so cool to see the passion out of that country. I love that shit. It always makes me happy. Always, makes me laugh with that. And the cornermen for this fight were like so synced with what they were saying. They were screaming "Bora, Bora" or whatever. I'm not sure what that means. I could be butchering it. So if anyone is Portuguese and knows that, or speaks Portuguese, because I'm Portuguese, but I'm kind of fake Portuguese because I don't speak Portuguese. Half Portuguese, half Italian. If you guys didn't know, don't speak either. Only probably the swear words from my parents saying it to me when I was younger. Okay, but yeah, no, it's funny, like the Paul Felger and Dan Hooker and Brendan Fitzgerald were kind of saying like, oh, they sound like minions or some characters from Toy Story. It's just funny to point out because they literally did. And then, Felipe just looked faster on the feet. His hands looked faster. He was mixing up to the body very well. Towards the end of the fight, he was kind of headhunting in the beginning, trying to get a spectacular KO or something, because a bunch of talking shit, and you want to KO someone stiff, make their toes curl and shit like that. But yeah, that wasn't really working because De Castro he showed he has a good chin, so he's mixing in the body really well. De Castro was a little hesitant. He landed some good leg kicks, landed some punches. Wasn't really anything crazy, anything shocking. But De Castro was really, in the first round, he was just waiting to counter Felipe with the overhand right. Other than that, wasn't doing really fuck all. And then the second round, we got that corner advice saying you got to initiate the fucking action. You gotta throw more shots. You're not doing anything. You're gonna lose this fight if you're just gonna be waiting for the counter overhand right, like Tyron Woodley or Nyquil Woodley, as Colby Covington would say. Or Tyquil? It might be Tyquil, actually. I kind of might have butchered that. But yeah, right away in the second round, De Castro showed that fucking urgency. It was going right for Felipe's face, Felipe's head, trying to take it off right at the beginning of the round. So it was cool. It was great to see him take his corner's advice and run with it. So that's good to see. But other than that, after that little, like the first minute or so, if it's a minute at most, he really didn't do anything. He kind of, he threw some shots, threw some leg kicks, wasn't really anything. Felipe was kind of just taking the action to him, I feel, more significant strikes wise. In the second round, this is where you really saw Felipe mixing into the body well. And when he was mixing it was perfect mixing into the body because he was throwing enough significant strikes to De Castro where he wants him to raise his guard and cover his head. And when you do that, it leaves your whole body open. So that's why he was mixing into the body and he was working well. He was landing very well. And then in the second round, he actually fucking slapped him like a Diaz brother, which is really funny, showing that he literally is a fanboy of these guys, which is awesome to see. It's never a bad thing to see. And then in the third round, oh my God, what a round this was. De Castro was just gassed. He shot him for a takedown, which wasn't really the smartest idea because he's not a Curtis Blades level wrestler in the heavyweight division. And at the third round, and you're gassed, you don't have the best cardio, and this guy shoots him for a takedown, does not get it whatsoever, can't lock his hands around Felipe's ass against the cage to secure, that position and hopefully get a double A takedown or even transition to a single leg, something like that. So that happened and he basically gassed out after that. So yeah, this ref was in this fight, even if one of the fighters had a finger in the cage, he automatically would stop it and get rid of the position, and I did not mind that whatsoever. That was actually something I liked about him. But in the past with this swearing and shit, be respectful. Like, fuck off. Like, don't be like that. Let the guys fight. Let them talk shit. It's a fight. You're getting punched in the face. I'm not going to be nice jab in my mouth, guy. I'm not going to be all happy with getting punched in the face. I'll probably talk shit too. It doesn't, that's fighting at the end of the day. Felipe in the second round, he actually fucking slapped him like a Diaz brother. I think I previously mentioned that. And then in the third round, right away, Felipe came out swinging, trying to finish De Castro. That was a crazy little sequence they had. And in the third round, the entire third round, De Castro was so fucking gassed. He literally was like a football drill. He kind of was just charging towards Felipe's chest and just putting him against the cage and doing nothing, just resting, doing bullshit knees, kind of bullshit punches that had no damage with them. And he did that a few times in a row. And I think it was like the third time in a row, Felipe was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And he was talking shit about him. It was funny. He was talking shit to him. And it was funny because he was laughing and then he started like smacking his ass. He smacked his ass a couple times, which was so funny to see. Such a savage move. It was just hilarious. It was funny because you hear the commentators like holding in their laughter with what Felipe was saying and shit. Fucking obviously from him slapping De Castro's ass. That was hilarious. That kind of was a sequence. He would break him up. De Castro would just put him against the cage. Ref would pull him apart because they were doing fuck all. That happened a few times. And then, eventually Felipe was pushing the pace at like the last minute. Whatever. He won by unanimous decision, obviously. And, he called out some guy. I've never even heard of his name. I don't know who he is. Called out someone who wants to fight. He didn't get hurt or anything. So, yeah, that was awesome. I'm actually a fan of Felipe's after that because it showed his character. He loves fighting. He said he has some, like, violence inside of him that he wants to bring out. I love guys that, instead of, like, fucking getting into gangs, committing crimes or whatnot. I say whatnot so much, I just realized. He was instead being a fighter, and I love seeing that. That's awesome to see. So now main event, Holly Holm and Irene Aldana, bantamweight bout. Holly Holm, after this fight, she's 14-5. She was a minus 125 favorite. She's the number 2 contender in the bantamweight division behind Germaine Durand. So it's interesting to see how this played out. She was actually, something I didn't know, she was the number 1 pound for pound women's boxer of all time, or is the number one pound for pound women's boxer of all time. That's cool. I knew she was a badass boxer. I didn't know she was like that fucking. She had that big of a legend or GOAT status or whatever you want to call it. And she's been with Mike Winkeljohn, who's the head coach of John Jones. She's been with him for 22 fucking years, and she still calls him Mr. Winkeljohn, which is, I love seeing that amount of high level respect, because with her work ethic and with Mike Winkeljohn's brain, that's gotten her to where she is at right now. Former champ. So it's very cool. And then Irene is 12-6 now. She was a plus 105 underdog. I think I said, I don't know if I mentioned that Holm was a minus 125 favorite. In case you guys didn't know, I'll fucking mention it twice. And Irene she has the second most significant strikes in UFC bantamweight history at 667, and she has the second highest striking rate in UFC bantamweight history at 6.6 strikes per minute. So going into this fight, I thought that it was going to be, I was telling Jules, like, people were overlooking this fight, but Holm, she's a great striker. Irene, she's had some nasty KOs. She had that one nasty leaping left hook, I believe, KO. Fucking badass, followed with a nice right hand, put the girl she was fighting to sleep. I think she had a nasty like head kick KO too, or dropped her opponent then finished her after. So I didn't have crazy high expectations, but I knew this was going to be a pretty decent fight compared to what people were saying on Twitter, talking bear shit about it. Basically just dominant performance by Holly Holm. She looked like a monster in this fight. Complete badass. She came into this fight looking like she had something to prove to herself. Everyone's talking to her, bringing up retirement. She's getting pissed off. She's 38 years old. She is getting there, but she was saying, I'm far from done. I got so much more left to prove. She wants to be champ. She wants to get that title back again, be a 2-time bantamweight champ. The whole fight was Irene was chasing Holly Holm when Holly Holm was utilizing her great footwork and from like boxing and just circling away from that lead hook that Irene has. And at times she was just charging in that 4-piece combo, ending it with a leg kick or body kick or head kick. And Irene didn't know what to do. She couldn't really get into the pocket range. She wasn't really doing anything significant in this fight. If I was her, I would have chopped down at the legs, kind of make Holly more stagnant in her movement, give me more opportunity to land something significant, kind of change the output of this fight, maybe shooting for a takedown, change levels, put Holly Holm on her back. And something that was cool that I didn't know was that John Jones actually was the only fighter in the UFC today that had a higher takedown defense than Irene. So Irene was number 2 before this fight. After this fight, she's probably fucking way below this list because she got taken down 5 out of 14 times by Holly. Man, I don't like. There's not too much to say with this fight. It's the same shit happened all over and over. Irene was just chasing her. She didn't really switch it up. She kind of did not initiate anything different. Was doing the same thing over and over. I don't know. It's hard to dig into this because nothing really changed. There's no momentum shifts. Holm took her down, landed some good ground and pound. She landed this nasty like head kick that I thought was going to be illegal. It was kind of close. When Irene was standing up to her feet after she got taken down. That was pretty fucking cool. It like made a nasty slapping noise. Echoed in that fucking tiny ass wherever it is in the Fight Island arena. It's not an arena, but whatever. I don't know. It's hard to really dig into this fight because there's nothing too much to dig into. Holly Holm looked fucking awesome. She's looked like a beast. I think after this fight, I think it's best to make the Holly and Germaine de Randamie rematch. And then the winner of that gets fucking the next head kick KO from Amanda Nunes. I don't know. Like, it's hard seeing Amanda Nunes lose. I kind of want to see Germaine get that trilogy, even though she lost twice already to her. Just with this evolution on the ground, it's interesting to see how that would be, especially with her being evenly matched somewhat on the feet with Amanda Nunes. If Amanda Nunes is initiating takedowns with you when you guys are fighting, showing that she doesn't want to strike with you, and you have this evolution on the mat, with this, you fucking choked out, whatever her name is, what's her name? Juliana Pena, when you're choked out a number 4 ranked bantamweight, she's not a tomato can, she's a badass for a reason, so that'd be cool to see. But you know what makes sense is the Holly Holm Jermaine Randomie rematch. Winner gets Amanda Nunes after she most likely starches Megan Anderson. Sorry, Megan Anderson, but you have cool tattoos at the end of the day, so I'll always love you. In this fight, Holly Holm kind of maintaining the distance. She was using that lead side body kick to kind of keep that distance, to kind of was making her able to still, touch her from the distance and getting her away from her, eliminating any possibilities of her getting into the pocket. Let's see what else we got. I'm just looking at my notes right now. 5 takedowns for Holly Holm in this fight. That was, she's switching up. She's making her opponents guess, which is really cool to see. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, something I got to point out, the last 30 seconds of the fifth round, Holly Holm was going ham on Irene. She was trying to finish her. She was putting it all on her. So that was fucking sick to see. That really, not like it was a close fight. She was going to win even if she lost that round or she got dropped or whatever. She was winning that fight regardless, unless she got finished. Yeah, man. No, it was a good fight. I don't know. You guys gotta, for anyone that talks shit about these like low key cards that people don't think have a lot of potential, fucking watch them. Watch them from start to finish. Do it once. Try it out. See if you like it. If you don't like it, I really don't understand, because it's fucking always amazing fights. But anyways, I don't want to drag this on any longer. Holm won via unanimous decision. I believe she had 2 50-44 cards, 1 50-45 card. I actually didn't know how she didn't get a performance of the night bonus for this fight. But yeah, guys, the fact that she didn't get the 50K bonus really doesn't make sense to me. But anyways, regardless, she had an amazing performance. And flipping the switch here, if you guys are as excited as me for the KHABIB NURMAGOMEDOV versus Justin Gaethje fight on YouTube, click right here to check it out. My breakdown and prediction, and on Spotify, you can find it in the video before this. I'll see you guys later. Have a great day. Make sure to subscribe for more videos every week.